Hey guys, today I'm not going to be teaching you how to do NTI Math 6. My mom is. So she's a teacher for 28 years and now she's retired. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome Miss Siski.
Hey, this is Mrs. C. You may be tired of hearing Mr. C's voice by now, so we were thinking that it might be a good change of pace to have me do a video. And through this video, I'm going to be slipping in some pictures of Mr. C and calling him Keenan because it's just weird for me to call him Mr. C. But he's left me alone with the iPad, so I've snuck in some pictures and I'm going to be telling some stories. Just don't tell him everything that I'm telling you. I'm also going to be giving you some examples that are similar to the problems that you have for your NTI. They're not the exact same problems, but they're similar. And it's been a while since I've taught, so be patient with me as I'm getting used to using this iPad again and getting used to doing algebra again. So let's rock this. How cute is he? By the way, that was his favorite shirt. It's a Scooby-Doo shirt. You can't tell it, but he wore it all the time. Okay, so here's our first example. 3x plus 10 equals 70. First thing I'm going to have you do, and Mr. Siski or Keenan probably has you do the same thing, is draw a line through the equal sign. And then we're going to isolate the variable. So since this equation has a plus 10, we're going to do the opposite of that, and we're going to subtract 10. And whatever we do on one side, we have to do on the other side. It's going to make these cancel. And we bring down what's left, which is 3x equals, then over here we take 70 minus 10, and that's 60. Still don't have the variable isolated, so since x was multiplied by 3, I'm going to divide by 3. It causes these to cancel, and now I've isolated my variable because the only thing left on this side is x, and over here I do the math, 60 divided by 3, and that's going to be 20. After you solve an equation, you can always go back and check it to make sure that when you take this 3 and multiply it by the 20, which is the x you just found, and add 10, you should get 70. Okay, here's the next picture that I snuck in. Check out what's on his finger there. That's a ring. Is it a ring pop? Here's my thing. I thought by now, after living in a different city for a few years, he would have already found a wife. I would love to see him with some other kind of ring other than this stupid ring pop. I don't know why you all can't find him a wife by now. Anyway, next equation. Here we have parentheses, and just like we would do without the equal to sign, we're going to have to distribute. So what I'm going to do first is take this 2 and multiply it by x. That's going to give me 2x. Then I have to multiply the 2 by the 8. Bring down my plus sign. 2 times 8 is 16. Bring down my equal to sign. 26. So now it looks exactly like the equation that we had back here. So now I'm ready to isolate the variable. I draw the line. I need to get rid of the plus 16. The opposite of adding 16 is subtracting 16. My 16s are now gone. I bring down what's left, which is a 2x. Over here, 26 minus 16 is 10. And now since x was multiplied by 2, I need to do the opposite, which is divide by 2. It causes my 2's to cancel. And I'm left with x equals, and then on this side, I take 10 divided by 2, and I get 5. So x equals 5. Again, the only thing different in this problem was we needed to get rid of the parentheses in the beginning, so we just did the distributive property. By the way, I'm sure Mr. C has told you this before too, but it is so important to keep your work neat and to show all of your steps. Oh, this picture. It's not a great picture, but I want you to notice all of those stuffed animals there. Keenan used to sleep with a ton of stuffed animals every night. He had a clipboard too. Every morning when he woke up, he kept data, kid you not, he kept data on which stuffed animals were still left on his bed. The ones that fell off, he voted out. If you know anything about him, this is his beginning of reality TV shows. He voted out the stuffed animals. The ones that fell off his bed didn't get to sleep with him the next night. He kept data and statistics on this when he was probably about this age, about 5 or 6 years old. Swear, I'm not even lying to you. Okay, my next example. This one looks pretty similar to the ones we did before, but if you'll notice, there's a lot of negatives or minus signs. So first thing I'm going to do is change this minus sign to a plus and make this 2 negative. Now I'm going to draw my line, and I'm trying to get rid of a negative 2. So the opposite of adding a negative 2 is to add a positive 2. Do that to both sides. It's going to make these 2's cancel out. When I bring down what's left now, I have a negative. Don't forget the negative. A negative 4x equals, and then on this side, 18 plus 2 is 20. So now I'm still trying to get x by itself. It's been multiplied by negative 4. I have to divide by negative 4. These numbers should be exactly the same so that they'll cancel out. I also have to divide this side by negative 4. I'm left with x equals, because my negative 4 is canceled, and on the other side, 20 divided by 4 is 5. A positive divided by negative is negative, so it's going to be negative 5 for my x. I mentioned earlier that handwriting is really important, especially when you're making these negatives. Make them pretty long so that they're not just like a tiny dash, because tiny dashes usually will disappear. You want to make sure that you keep your negative signs clear so that you can remember to bring them down or to cancel them out. Okay, I don't remember what picture is next, so this is going to be a surprise to both of us. Oh, it's Keenan on a bike. It might have had training wheels. I think it did. Isn't he cute? All right, last example. Okay, just like the first example that we did, had a problem with it that was similar where we had to get rid of the parentheses. We're going to get rid of the parentheses here too. Notice that there's just a different variable. We're going to treat it exactly like we did with an x. So the first thing we're going to do is distribute. Don't forget the negative. Negative 3 times y is going to be negative 3y. I also want to change this minus to plus negative. That way, whenever I'm multiplying negative 3, I can see that I'm multiplying it by negative 4. And a negative 3 times negative 4 is going to be positive 12. Now I've gotten rid of excuse me, I've gotten rid of the parentheses. I've made sure my signs are correct. Bring down the equal to sign and 36. Now it looks exactly like the other problems. I'm going to draw my line and isolate the variable. In this problem where it says plus 12, I want to do the opposite, so that's subtracting 12. Whatever I do to one side, I have to do the other. 12s are going to cancel. I bring down my negative 3y equals, and then 36 minus 12 is going to be 24. Since y was multiplied by negative 3, I need to do the opposite, which is divide by negative 3. My negative 3's cancel, and I'm left with y equals, and then 24 divided by negative 3 is negative 8. So that's the last example. I hope that I didn't confuse you very much. I wish I could have spent more time on stories, but Keenan told me to leave the video pretty short. So I'm just going to leave you with these 2 cute pictures. I don't really have any stories about that, except aren't they cute? The second picture there is Keenan kissing his little sister. By the way, one tiny little story. When he was little, he was obsessed with Wizard of Oz. And when we first brought his little sister home, he didn't care for her much, so he called her the Scarecrow. I was Glinda the Good Witch because he loved me. So, I hope you all enjoyed this video. I know that Mr. C has you leave a comment about your favorite something. What I want to know is your favorite thing about Mr. Siski. So tell me anything that you like about Mr. Siski. It can be one word, but just give me anything that you like about him. I can think of a million things because I think he's pretty cute and pretty special. So I'm going to leave you with this, something I always tell him, and I've been telling him since he was little. Make good choices and take care.